It is day 0 of the new meta, and while we don't have a ranked ladder to go and test, we do have some online tournaments currently going on with a lot of players all playing the new cards. So to get you prepared for your ranked grind starting tomorrow, I want to go over these deck lists, show you how these new decks are being built. That way you can either copy the list, make a couple tweaks, or just try to outright counter them. And if you want to stay up to date on all things ranked, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. So first thing I want to show you guys is the meta breakdown for this tournament. This tournament is around 400 players, and right off the bat, I think this is going to be relevant because this is what people are playing online. This is likely what people are going to be bringing to ranked tomorrow. You're probably going to see a lot of Buzzwole Pheromosa. It is the most hyped card out of this set. It's a lot of fun to play. There's a lot of Giratina Darkrai. You guys are strange. I feel like these people, they wake up in the morning, they eat the same breakfast, they drive the same way to work, they eat the same lunch. Like, they just do everything the same, bro. There's new cards, man. There's new cards, dude. Don't tell me maybe they haven't gotten them yet. Because why are you picking Darkrai Giratina? Play Meowscarada. You only need one new card in order to play that deck in the new version, right? You don't need to spend money to play a new deck. Okay, onwards. A lot of Meowscarada Decidueye. I think Meowscarada Decidueye seems like it should be pretty decent right now if you're running into a lot of Buzzwole, a lot of Giratina Darkrai. A lot of Charizard. Charizard is great in a Buzzwole. It's just GG, go next. Some Silvally's popping up. Buzzwole Celesteela, it's basically just Buzzwole Pheromosa. We'll go over the differences in the list later. Some Decidueye Pheromosas. Yeah, just these are the new decks you're releasing. Not seeing a whole lot of Guzzlord. You got to scroll pretty far before you get to any. You know, they are popping up as different versions, which makes the play rate seem lower than it is, but still, not as many Guzzlords as you would think, considering it is, you know, the second most hyped EX out of the set. But a lot of cool things happening. Let's jump over and take a look at the list. Now, just the first thing I'll show you is this Meowscarada list. So I'm actually surprised that they're playing the old Dartrix and not the new Dartrix. The 20 skill dive seems pretty good. I played a lot of Meowscarada Decidueye, and there have been very few times where that 30 damage exactly from Dartrix has mattered all that much. I feel like you'd want the skill dive one. I've been seeing some lists where they're even playing like the new Rowlet. I think skill dive is too good to pass up on. So me personally, I would take this Dartrix and I would replace it with the new one that we just got. The Rowlet I would keep the same. I wouldn't play the coin flip one. I like flipping for 3 coins to do maybe 30 damage doesn't seem all that good. Like that's probably the worst Rowlet to me. I would rather take the 10 from skill dive guaranteed or the 20 from the leafage Rowlet. But even that, like, I love the skill dive. Okay, I love it. I love being able to put 20 damage wherever I want on my opponent's board, get that ready for Decidueye, or even set up a better damage range for Meowscarada later on. So I would personally be playing the skill dive one, and the rest of the list is just very, very standard. Besides that, it's all pretty much the same. They're only playing 1 Erica, 1 Lily. I usually like to run 2 Erica, 1 Lily in case I'm running into a lot of mirror matches. Having that extra heal just gets you ahead. And against Buzzwole Pheromosa, I can only assume more heals is better. Just clean off that little chip damage they're doing with their Kartanas and their Pheromosas, get rid of it, and just make it so they have to go through Meowscarada, which they can't really do. Now I want to talk about Buzzwole EX. Now there are a few different ways people are playing Buzzwole at the moment. This first one I'm showing you here is a Pheromosa forward-focused build. We have the 2 Pheromosa, the 2 Buzzwole, and the 1 Kartana. A lot of the differences you're going to see are in those Pheromosa Kartana counts, and as well as, are we playing Beastite, are we not? But this one's a little bit on the interesting side. So you're playing 2 Pheromosa, 1 Kartana, and you're only playing 1 Lusamine. A lot of the other lists I've seen are up to 2 Lusamine. This one, I mean, I've been playing quite a bit of Buzzwole, and, you know, you don't often need 2 Lusamine, right? It's usually like a 1 Lusamine for your Buzzwole and you're good. Now, the tricky part with only playing 1 is finding it on that one turn that you do need it, right? You're going to need the Lusamine fairly early on. You know, usually after giving up 1, like Pheromosa or Kartana, you're going to want to have that Lusamine option for the Buzzwole, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. Now, if you go second, you will have that extra energy attachment for the game. and it probably will just work itself out. Sometimes you don't even need to Lusamine, honestly. So maybe the one Lusamine is actually kind of cracked. A red card in here makes sense. A lot of the list weren't playing red card, and you know, it's red card. It's still good. Nothing changed. Red card is just still very, very good. Probably better than using Mars, because one thing about Buzzwole is you want to be playing a supporter every turn, and usually they're really, really important. Like using the Erica is usually pretty important. The Lusamine, the Cyrus, the Guzma. These 4 supporters, it's hard to find a time to Mars when you don't want a Lusamine, you don't want a Cyrus, or you don't want an Erica. So I definitely like the red card in here more. Let's move over to some of the other versions. This one is just straight Pheromosa. No Kartana in here. And really cool inclusions here. So we see 2 Cyrus. There's the Mars like I was talking about. Again, it gets tricky to find that space, that time to use the Mars. But maybe it's a little bit better because we're playing the Repel in here. Repel is like item card Sabrina, but it only works for if a basic Pokemon is in the active spot. So I think the Repel is pretty good. I think the Repel is actually really good because a lot of the decks right now are big basic stuff. And for the most part, you don't really need to push like an evolution Pokemon out of the active spot. It doesn't come up too often. And using that, having that Repel for the early game, even just as my opponent has a Pokemon they want to be in the active spot and one that they don't want on the bench. And if that thing comes into the bench, comes from the bench to the active spot, you know that you're going to require them to either waste a turn attachment or have to find a leaf if they're even playing it, whatever. So I really like the Repel in here. I think it's a solid inclusion for Buzzwole. I really like this heavy gust forward, just Pheromosa build. It's pretty interesting. Now, next up, we have another cool build. So this is a 1 Buzzwole, 1 Lusamine. A lot of these good performing lists you're seeing are down to that 1 Lusamine. And it makes sense because if you're able to find that Lusamine consistently, just that one for that one turn you need it, you're buying yourself a free deck space. Because again, there are games for Buzzwole where you actually don't use Lusamine at all. And you very rarely use 2. So the 1 Lusamine might be the way from these early results. But this list is double Kartana, double Pheromosa, and just 1 Celesteela. Cutting back to the 1 Celesteela makes sense if you're playing just 1 Buzzwole, because the odds of you starting that 1 Buzzwole are significantly lower than if you're playing 2, right? We have 6 basics here. It's only a 1 in 6 that you're starting the Buzzwole. Not something that you need double Celesteela in order to avoid. This one is also playing the Beastite. I like the Beastite. I don't like when my damage is capped out at any point during the game. I like having damage modifiers in my deck, and I've preferred the Beastite in my list as well. Just being able to add that 10 damage, that 20 extra damage has felt really good. Specifically, if you're up against Giratina, they don't have a giant cape on it. You're able to go Pheromosa, jump blues, put 20 on the Giratina. If they don't heal that, you can then go Cyrus with Buzzwole and attack it for 130 if you've taken a knockout somewhere, which doesn't happen often, but like against the Tapu Lele deck, you're usually able to get like an early prize and then focus on that Giratina and get it that way. Or even if you're just playing Dark Raitina and you were able to get through a Darkrai with a Kartana or maybe an early Buzzwole, your Buzzwole will be able to respond to the Giratina because of that damage modifier. So I like it. Out of all of these lists, my favorite from these ones is I like having Kartana on my list. Me personally, I like having the Kartana. I'm not a fan of just going Pheromosa. I think the Kartana is just a good option to have. And I kind of like the just 1 Buzzwole option, but I would be a little bit scared of finding the Buzzwole on its own. So this version is probably my favorite. This one right here. This is what I would begin my testing with and then start to change cards as I see fit. Now we get to talk about type null Silvally decks. Now, I was a little bit harsh when I saw Silvally purely because I saw him and was like, dude, why aren't you an EX? But I honestly should have been happy that he's not an EX because this card is really cool. So Brave Buddies, 50 damage. If you use a supporter card during your turn, you're going to do 50 more damage. As you can see, this list, this Rampardos Silvally list, plays a lot of supporters. Like, you're not going to miss a supporter on your turn 1. It's essentially Lycanroc Rampardos, but with Silvally instead. The Gladion is great, right? Originally, Lycanroc was cool because Lycanroc could go find himself from that Rockruff previous evolution. But with Gladion, you're now able to just go find that Silvally. More than likely, if you're starting with a type null, the odds are in your favor to go find that Silvally and be able to hit for 100 damage on that next turn. I really like the Silvally. There are a lot of cool things going on with it. So we're going to move on and I'm going to show you a different Silvally list. This is Silvally with the Lycanroc EX. This one's interesting. I don't know how I'm feeling too much about it. Haven't done too much like testing with Lycanroc. It's a lot of energy commitment to the Lycanroc. Like finding 3 additional attachments to the Lycanroc after attacking with Silvally seems pretty darn difficult. Like the Silvally is going to require 2 energy attachments. It's not a, really big Pokemon. It only has 110 HP. It's pretty easy to knock out in return. Having that 3 energy Lycanroc seems a little bit sketchy to me, but this list was able to do fairly well. I think they went like 6-3 in tournament, so likely 6-2 and then lost in top cut. They were like 5th place or 6th place or something like that. So they did fairly well, but I'm not sure how much I'm really feeling it, but I wanted to show you because, here it is. And then we have Silvally with lightning stuff. Silvally with Zeraora. This is another list where this deck is actually doing fairly well. It might just be good enough, the fact that Silvally's doing 100 damage on your second turn. And this Zeraora is a really cool inclusion because it means that if you are able to pull off getting the Zeraora on your bench that first turn with that One of Dawn, you can attack even if you went first on your second turn. You just skip over that. It also will function as a, hey, here's my extra attachment for the game. It's just sitting here on the bench waiting for me to be able to find Dawn and then going with that. And then, of course, because we're playing Zeraora and we're playing lightning cards, we have an Oricorio in here as well. I like it. I think it's cool. Oricorio is just really strong and it can do some heavy lifting later on in the game. Oricorio can just solo some decks. But this Silvally is a super, super sick card. There's another list I have here. Silvally Charizard. So we're just trying this guy with everything. Obviously, Stoke Charizard, you know what it does. But instead of the Turtonator, we're playing the Silvally. Just cool. Just cool, right? I mean, it's just a different attacker. I think I like this more than Turtonator. I was never a fan of the Turtonator list, in my opinion, because of how easy it was to take advantage of the fact that that Turtonator has like 4 retreat cost. It either had 4 or 3 retreat cost, whichever one. There were a lot of Greninja decks around, and trapping that Turtonator is as simple as pinging it with Greninja, using Cyrus. That Turtonator is now stuck in the active spot and it can't do anything. If you don't have Kiawe, you're not charging it up that way, or it's just buying you a turn by leaving it in the active spot. I never liked the Turtonator because of that. I felt it was really, really easy to get punished playing that deck. So the Silvally is a cool option. I've also seen some people try Charizard Blacephalon instead of the Turtonator. Another cool idea. Anything but Turtonator, honestly. I'm just not really a big fan of the card. But those are the main versions of Silvally I've been seeing around. I think it has a lot of potential outside of just what we've seen today. I'm really hopeful for this card. It's a colorless Pokemon. Its attack is going to do 100. You're already using your supporter every turn pretty much. It is just a really, really cool card, and I'm excited to see that it is performing well. Now we can talk about the big Guzzlord. A few different ways people are building it, like everything. This is Guzzlord, Naganadel, Nihilego. Just 2, just super consistent on our Pokemon. Double Poison Barb to make sure we're getting that poison in. This Naganadel early game is really scary. Really scary, especially if you get the Nihilegos online too. Like, it's going to be doing 60, 70 damage just going into your turn, not to mention coming back into your turn. And they're taking that extra poison damage. The Naganadel is just a really, really scary attacker if they get it up and running efficiently. Celesteal to retreat everything. And then the Guzzlord here as your big late game finisher. Only thing I don't love about this list is the fact that there are no heals. But this deck has gone 6-1 in this 400-person tournament, so it's doing really well right now. It's doing really well. 1 Lusamine, again, like, none of these Pokemon really need the Lusamine except for that 1 Guzzlord turn. So I can understand why we're down to 1 Lusamine. Double Lusamine might have just been overkill, might have just been, hey, day 1, we're just going to try to run things as consistent as possible and remove cards as we go. And they're also playing the Repel just good. Just good against basic decks. It's really, really cool. And it's just a Sabrina that if you're playing against an all basic deck, or if your opponent left a basic in the active spot, you don't have to use your supporter for a turn. So this is the Naganadel version. We have another version here. This is without Naganadel and is instead just focusing on Nihilego, and you get a few more. You have all that deck space for other trainer cards, right? So we're up to 2 Lusamine. Makes sense in this list because we're not attacking with Naganadel. All of our attackers need multiple energies, so I don't hate the Lusamine here. It's also good because you can attack with a Nihilego early on in the game, which is going to require 2 energy, and then you know that when Lusamine comes up, you're going to get the full value out of the Lusamine for the 2 onto the Guzzlord. And again, because we just have more room, we have more tech options, we can use the red, we can fit the Beastite in here, Pokemon Communication to help us find the double Nihilego. Very, very good. This deck is just really, really scary. When they have something in the active spot and a couple Nihilegos in play, and they put a Poison Barb on there, you almost just don't want to attack. It just becomes a twice as lethal Rocky Helmet. It gets really, really scary attacking into these Nihilegos with Poison Barbs, or even Celesteela with Poison Barbs, whatever. Very, very frightening deck. I believe we have one more, not a Guzzlord version, but a Nihilego Naganadel version. And this one, instead of using Guzzlord, we are playing Darkrai EX. One of Lusamine, usually just for the Nihilego, or even you could go Lusamine onto Naganadel, so you also get that attachment ping on the Darkrai EX as well. It's fairly cool. I mean, you're doing a lot of residual damage between the poison and the Darkrai pings. You're going to be doing a lot of damage early on in the game, and that might just be enough. That might just be enough for you to be able to take it. So Guzzlord is super cool. I can't speak for much of Guzzlord myself, because even after opening I hit the Pokegold limit today, and I pulled 0 Guzzlord EX. So have not gotten to test it. I've played 0 games with it. I literally cannot, which is so sad because it looks really, really fun. But I'm hopeful for Guzzlord. I think outside of Grindcore, it's a cool card. Grindcore will be annoying at some times. I was playing against it as Buzzwole, and they did Grindcore, discard all the energy from my Buzzwole, but I had a Lusamine in hand, so it didn't really matter, but it could have been really annoying. Now, this card is probably the one I was the most unsure about, and that's Tapu Koko EX. I simply did not know if doing the 90 damage that quickly was going to be enough, but it seems like it is. Tapu Koko is doing fairly well right now. So Tapu Koko, you're able to put it in the active spot, use Plasma Hurricane, does 20 damage, and then you take a lightning energy from your energy zone and attach it to Tapu Koko. That means the turn right after you use Plasma Hurricane, you're able to go Mach Bolt and just start throwing out 90 damage. You also have the Zeraora, which is, we're not playing Dawn in this list, so Zeraora is just kind of going to be like a backup attacker. Maybe you don't find Tapu Koko and you want that early Zeraora attack, and it also frees up an energy attachment at some point to attach to Oricorio or to Tapu Koko. So it's a very cool list. Lightning got quite a bit of support here. Interestingly, they are not running any of the electrical cord whatever in this list. They've decided to go without it, but they have quite a few cool cards in here, like the Repel, double Pokemon Center Lady, just a lot of healing in here too, which is necessary if you're playing anything Oricorio based. You got to heal to keep the Oricorio alive because there's Rocky Helmets and Darkrai pings everywhere. I have another Tapu Koko list here, and this one is, I believe I just pulled Judy's list for this. Judy's also in this tournament. He's like, or sorry, Jody. I'm too locked in on saying Judy. Jody. He's like 6-1 in the tournament right now with this list. So he did very, very well. And this is Tapu Koko Zeraora, but instead of the Shaman, we're running Pikachu. We have the 2 electrical cords. I feel like if you're playing Pikachu, it's pretty necessary to run cards like this, like Electrical Cord and Dawn, because that Pikachu is going to be your big end of the game nuke. And again, just another cool list. Electrical Cord is a really, really sweet tool card. If you guys don't know, if you have an electrical cord attached to your active and that Pokemon gets knocked out, you take 2 of those energy and you move them to 2 separate bench Pokemon. So if you had a Tapu Koko in the active, he got knocked out, you could move 1 to a Zeraora, 1 to an Oricorio, or 1 to an Oricorio, 1 to a Pikachu, whatever. You can't do 2 to 1 Pokemon, but helps keep your energy in play. Helps keep your energy in play. Helps you get that Pikachu online without having to run like Pachirisu, like when Pikachu first came out. So it might finally be time for Pikachu EX to be decent. This list has been doing fairly well. A lot of these Tapu Koko Pikachu variants, you know, cards slightly differ, but they've all been doing pretty good. And it's cool to see. It's really cool to see because I love Tapu Koko as a Pokemon. He was a sick card in the real TCG, so I love Tapu Koko, and I'm glad to see that he's actually doing well because it is just a cool card. And we haven't seen Lightning be able to do much of anything outside of Oricorio and Magnezone, which, you know, getting sick of Magnezone. Magnezone has just been great for a really long time. I'd love to see some new refreshing stuff from Lightning decks that aren't just Magnezone based. The Oricorio, it's going to be in every Lightning deck forever because it's too good of a tool to ignore. But if you pull too many Tapu Kokos like I did, have no fear. It's good. And we're going to finish this off with some old classics. Ninetales Rapidash. Bet you haven't seen this in a while. Bet you haven't even thought about this card in a while, okay? Ninetales Rapidash. Not really much has changed. They're running Poison Barbs instead of Rocky Helmets to boost the damage. But there's another version that I think I like just a little bit more. You know, I'll let you soak this in. It's just Ninetales Rapidash. You've hopefully seen this deck quite a bit. It might have even been your first deck. This was my first deck on Pokemon Pocket right here. This was the first deck I ever built because it was the easiest thing you could build in the game, and it was really, really strong back in Genetic Apex days. But check it out. Ninetales Blacephalon. So, I really like this because we're able to... There's a couple things that I love about this. Ninetales. A big problem with it for a long time has been... if you get a Ninetales set up aggressively, you do not have energy attachments that can go anywhere else because you are constantly attaching to the Ninetales because Ninetales discards a fire energy from itself. So if you go second, attach the Vulpix, your next turn you want to attack with Ninetales, you attach to the Ninetales, attack. Like, you're never really going to have a turn off, but Blacephalon is going to fix that because now, after attacking with Ninetales, Ninetales gets knocked out, you can just Lusamine to the Blacephalon and then do 130 damage. That's huge. So you're doing 120 damage with Ninetales and Blaine, and then you get to do 130 with Blacephalon. Super, super sick deck. Super sick deck. This is like the most budget-friendly thing you can build out of this new set that feels entirely new. Using a actual, you know, new attacker from the set. And you probably haven't played Ninetales in a really long time. So if you're looking for something budget-friendly from this set, this is what I would recommend. This seems really, really cool. But that is going to be it for the video. Let me know what you guys are testing, what you've had success with, and good luck to all of you on your ranked grind. I'll see you on the next one.